So I wanted to just start with like, because I think it's hysterical. And now that we've figured it out, it's like
20 years.
Real close to 20 years since we've actually like sat and chatted. So we started belting our little hearts out on like, I'll say international stage because it sounds so fun.
Oh, it sounds so much fancier.
I mean, it sounds a lot fancier than what, I mean, it's not technically wrong.
It's not wrong.
We were international for blitz and blurbs of it.
3 weeks, man.
Right? But I mean, you know, like
They'll never know.
one song glory. This is what we're here for. If we're going to do shitty 2000s choreography, we got to drop a musical line. Okay, so this is Chantel. We actually go way back, like we said, really, really uncomfortably close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And Chantel is the owner of Knitatude. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. And more exciting, I think, for me is that you have now been a full-time entrepreneur for
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Dude, I am so excited for you. Oh my God.
It's absolutely terrifying. It's very exciting, but it's also
terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, because you're like, wow, I had like benefits and salary and stability.
For a long time. Yeah, on a regular paycheck.
Yeah. Now you're like, I have a financial advisor and an accountant, which costs money.
I do.
I need to be making money. It's a real thing. So, okay, just give me the beans. So, like, you were doing what before Knitatude was like a full swing?
I ended up going to school for broadcast journalism. I wanted to work in commercials. I moved to Vancouver and worked on commercials and then realized I did not want to work 12 to 16-hour days. Came back home, and this was like right when Jenna Marbles was like big into YouTube. And I was like, I think I could do something. And I'm like looking at my now husband, Todd. And I was like, I think I could do like a YouTube channel. And he was like, about what? And I was like, I don't know. I'm funny.
Yeah,
like I could find something. And
for our topic,
yeah.
She doesn't really have like a niche. She has her
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got dogs.
And I ended up going. I started working in broadcast television for a while, and then I just started going to Pinterest, and I saw every basic bitch in like a circle scarf and like beautiful long hair, and I was like, I want to be that. So
I aspire to greatness.
So Knitatude just came out of like nowhere, and that's like back in 2013 is when I first learned how to knit, and then Knitatude like became like a thing about a year into it when I had a bunch of girlfriends being like, I love that scarf. Can you like make me one? And I was like, yeah, but you can also pay for it. So like,
correct, because it is not free for me to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I've been doing Knitatude the entire time of working like a full-time job, and that was with like either working at breakfast television, writing for the entertainment section. If that was up in sales, when I shifted up into like advertising sales, I also shifted to I have a lot of things and trajectories.
We all do. That's how we are born, honey.
I shifted to advertising and worked at an advertising agency. So I worked at Critical Mass for about 5 years. Being a copywriter, I literally wrote commercials. So it was like going all the way back to 2010 to what I went to school for. Yeah, and then finally ended up getting an offer from another agency that my friends were at, and they were like, we know you've had Knitatude the whole entire time. Have you ever thought about taking Knitatude full time? And I was like, fuck no. Like,
Of course.
I'm like, I love double money. Like,
correct.
I'm not even going to beat around the bush.
Sweetness of like a buffet. You're like, I have some of this and some of that.
Yeah, and then you have like the full regular like income, and then you also have like whatever's on top. And like to me, that was always play money. And one of my friends who's like the owners of like the other agency, and he was like, no, like we've talked about like income and how much you make off of Knitatude, like you should really try and take this full time. I have like a mat leave position for a copywriter coming up. You want to take that full salary for half the time so you can do more Knitatude and do part-time on a full-time salary. And I was
I love the way that this
like,
just like deep end.
Duh. I was like, this sounds great. And then it was supposed to be a 1-year contract, and I started in September of 2024. And I was like, I did 6 months, and I was like, I think I'm just going to go for it.
So you just like,
so I like had in my notice,
plunged.
and I was like, okay, bye. And they're so sweet and so wonderful. But I was like, if I might as well, like, if I'm going to be pumping out 200 lines, I might as well be pumping out 200 lines for my own business.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's that was like essentially the concept of when I started doing the comeback blueprint, because it was like, okay, everyone was like, what's with the name? I'm like, okay, because everybody, in my experience, us entrepreneurs are literally, if you look at our resumes, it is like the biggest scatter unmedicated ADHD storm.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's so many things. Like,
Oh, yeah.
even when I first met Tim, like Tim had been my now husband. He is the human that like went to school, worked hard, got the good job, and then got hunted for the better job. And then it was like 10 years here. 10 years. And he was
Oh
just
my
like
God. Loyalty.
stable, able, right? But like, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay. So I've like driven school bus, I've owned day homes. I had a tanning salon at one point. Well, then I taught kindergarten, and then I worked as an EA for the past president of the real estate board. And it was just this like insane
Everything.
bouncy. And I think that's sort of how a lot of entrepreneurs are built on the inside. I think we just
we're
fight
trying
it.
to test things.
Well, because it is, I'm not going to say more socially acceptable. It's not what I'm going for, but it is more common and it's more comfortable to have an income and benefits and like paid holidays and like sick days and whatever. But
It's way easier to have structure.
it's way because, so here's where we struggled. So I think it's funny because when we first got licensed as agents, I very much was like, this is not something that I'm gonna want
Pursue.
to do. And my husband, because he is like he's an insane cheerleader for me. And he really was like, I'm telling you, you would be an amazing agent. I was like, yeah, okay, but here's the thing. I probably won't be, because if my mouth doesn't say it first, usually she beats me to the punch. My face is going to let you know how I feel. And that is like number one sales. Like, your opinions don't matter. The clients matter. And I also, like, I mean, I grew up in the real estate world, right? Like, my dad was a new home builder. My brother is a realtor, still is. My mom was a real estate accountant. My sister had an excavating company. Like, it literally was like every day at the dinner table was real estate conversations. And so we did it. We got the licenses. We were so excited. We were both still working full time. And we had really good jobs. Like, my husband had a beautiful company car. He had like insane benefits. I had really good benefits. We both had really strong income. And then when we really started getting into it, and I will literally never forget the day, ever. My husband went probably a year. And in our house, we talk a lot about like the universe manifestation. Like, don't put it out there if you don't want it to kind of smack you in the face.
Something will happen.
Right? And so I kept saying to my husband, like, you need to stop complaining about how much you hate doing like a timesheet or whatever. Because I was like, you were going to will yourself out of that job.
Oh, it's like as soon as you put like one negative thing in your mind, it like starts to
100%. And it was like, so it's probably like a year later. And I'm at work, and he phones me, and he's like, this goes to show it wasn't even a "are you sitting down" conversation. It was a "you should go outside." And I was like, that seems worse than "are you sitting down?" That's really bad. So of course I'm already freaked out. I go outside, and he's like, "Okay, well, babe, congratulations to us. I'm now full-time real estate." And I was like,
"Oh,
I'll sit now. Okay, and I'm just give me a hot minute." Like, he got packaged out.
Okay.
And so it was like
the force that push. It's like that final nudge.
Yeah, it was like okay, we're just gonna package you out. And I was like, oh. So he's like, yeah, but we're good. Like, we've got such a good base of like security, and now I get to do full-time real estate. It's always what I wanted, babe. And I was like, oh my God, this sounds great, babe. I'm so excited. Like, because I just was not ready to not have structure.
Yeah.
And for us, we were doing real estate like you were doing with Knitatude, but that was our play money.
It's play money.
And then within like 6 months, I was like, if you want me to do this, happily, we need to have our own brokerage, which means you need to go get your broker's license. Because I need to be able to color outside the lines, but color inside the lines.
Yeah, there needs to be lines.
Lead line is, you know?
There needs to be lines.
I need a little bit more like chaotic freedom with our clients and what they were looking for. And he did it. Because his brain is a beautiful place that I don't have. And he did. He went through, got all of his real estate licenses, got his broker license, and it was like that was we were doing it. We were opening a brokerage.
Damn.
We were doing the most business we've ever done. We were like, oh my God, it was like this euphoric, didn't feel real reality. And it was insane because it was like, I never actually thought this was going to happen. And then 3 months into us owning our brokerage, we found out I was pregnant with my surprise baby. So
Yeah.
like for you, because you're still a one income house because Todd is working.
No.
Oh my God.
I used to call myself a dink, but a double income, no kids. But Todd did not work. No, I am extremely lucky. My husband, so I met Todd back in like 2008, and then we got married in 2013. So we've been married for math 12 years, coming up in August.
Yes.
Met very young. I met him when I was 18. Ended up like my dad passed away. We got very, very close because of like all of the first all in one go. But no,
Yes.
Todd is just like such a wonderful homemaker. So like we have a very role reversed like we are not like gender specific. Like Todd cooks and he cleans and he does a laundry. We've been living in our new house. We bought our first house 2 years ago. I don't know how to use the washing machine. I
love
don't
this
know
so much.
how to load the dishwasher because he's very specific.
As you are once you're like, this is my shtick. Don't touch my shtick.
He's like this is so no. We ended up having it where like essentially he decided to go back to school in like, oh my God, poor schmuck. He was like, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to become a library tech. I'm going to go back in 2019. I haven't been going to school for like probably 10 years. I'm so excited to go back to school in person. COVID hits.
Lockdown.
And then he literally graduates and there are no jobs available because the public funding was like one of the first things that got cut. So there's nothing for him. And my accountant looks at me and she goes, is Todd planning to go back to work? And I was like, yeah, I think so. Like, I think he's going to try and find something. And she was like, maybe he doesn't. And I was like, what do you mean he doesn't? And she was like, he is a massive tax write-off for you. She's like, because at this point, like the way that you're doing everything with dividends and then like with a salary, etc., it's way easier to give him all the money because then he has a lower tax bracket. Blah, 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 blah. So no, Todd is a house husband,
Oh my God, I love that.
he takes care of me, and his whole entire job is essentially me, so that I can work all of the time, and I literally make all the money. And he's just like such a wonderful, wonderful human. He runs a shinny hockey league on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we were like, my accountant was also like, does he have insurance? Like, what happens if, like, a guy falls? Like, is he liable? And I was like, oh, yeah, probably. And she was like, you're incorporated. So, like,
maybe let's.
Todd Hockey is now Knitatude. So, like,
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's been, like, really wild. So he essentially, like, just plays hockey. He has such a treasured and beautiful life, and he just like essentially
you're welcome.
takes care of me. No, and he's like a fantastic cook. He's just like Todd is so sweet. Like I always, whenever any of my friends are like, what like. Bring Todd around. I'm like, absolutely fucking not, because everyone loves Todd. They're like, I have like 242,000 followers on like Instagram, and
shameless plug.
I know,
love
I did.
That.
Sorry,
love it.
But all of my friends immediately are like, yeah, but when's Todd coming? Like, when's the Todd content? Like, is there going to be a live with Todd pretty soon? Like, he's such a wonderful, wonderful human. He is so bright and so shining and has like such a positive glow. Like if he was like an aura, he would be like a glittery like yellow, because he's just like so positive. He's like sunshine. He like walks into a room and he's like sunshine.
See, but I love this for you because I knew you pre-Todd.
Yeah.
And you were always the yellow glittery aura.
Yeah, but now I am negative as shit.
Yeah, but that's, girl, that's because we are in the thick of this shit. Like,
he's so positive.
Because, like, we had to grow up. I don't know when I'm going to grow up. It hasn't quite happened yet. But I think for me, knowing you, which is fun because not every one of these episodes I know the human. I know of them or we've done business, whatever. But, like, I know you. Yeah. And I think it's really cool because, like, I've always secretly, like, in the background, like, cyber crept your world. because that's what we do.
So Instagram is a window.
Cyber
the amount of stuff that you
creeping.
put onto Instagram, my God.
Oh, it's real. Like, it is fierce. And I
everyone
think
knows that they're like, oh, how's your dog? How's Kurt Russell? And I'm like, oh, he's wonderful. I know. They're like, is
Why
his
do you
back
know
feeling
this?
okay because he had IVDD before? And I'm like, thank you for checking. Like, he's actually doing really well.
I appreciate the thoroughness of your
Yeah.
paperness. But I think it's important because I'm going to say in our industry of being entrepreneurs, it is incredibly difficult to do what we do, whether it's, and like in my case, I do it with my husband because he's our broker. So he's literally the reason I get to play in all the fun things. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to have my brokerage and have the offerings that we get to have. And it's been so fun for us and for our clients because, we'll get 2 or 3 people that'll be like, ugh. Like, it'd be great if I could just have this house, but have like this with it. And I'd be like,
we can find that.
Hold my beer. And I'd call Tim and be like, does that color outside the lines? He'd be like, no, make it brokerage wide. We'll get, the admin team to do up a policy and we'll figure it out. I'm okay, cool.
Magical.
Because so he is definitely that backbone of like, yes, let me find out how, and then we'll run with it.
And then also like lets you be able to like kind of take the reins and then also just like
yes,
do all the things.
Yes. See, and so like I think in our industry it is
like a nice like balance.
It is a huge balance. And I've always said to people, like, I am his shot of whiskey, he is my cup of tea. Because I will never slow down to have the cup of tea that I know I need. Like, you hear my voice. Are we talking any quieter? No. Am I doing myself any favors? No.
We did say that the volume on this was going to keep on going up.
I'm pretty sure that when my parents see this, they're going to be like, did we not just tell you to relax your voice? Be like, I know, but like, come on. It's Chantel. Come on. So I do think it's important to have that person that either gets your industry or is able to complement and support your industry or your choice. Yeah. And I think that's amazing because so I guess that sort of leads me, like how have you been preparing to teeter? Well, I guess you didn't really prepare to teeter from employed to self-employed. Or like, did you? Did it just like flip a switch?
As in like making the choice of being like, do I go full time into this? I think it just felt like inevitable after a while. Like it was like, this is something that you really enjoy doing. Like I really like knitting. I like making patterns. I like designing things and just like,
yes.
Like there's nothing more like gratifying than like knitting. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but like every single row is like another row. And you can like physically see that item building and like it is that instant gratification.
Yes.
And I think it's also just like really cool to have people that like the ideas that I have in my brain, I'm like, oh, I've made this. And then they make it and they put it on their body, which is like just really, really kind of cool just by itself. And I think I was also just realizing that like after working with so many clients, like, sorry, I'm going to do big plugs because I feel very fancy talking about my, like,
and you need to.
My advertising,
plug away.
Like I've worked with M&Ms, I've worked with AT&T, I've like helped rebrand Skittles. Like there's like some really big things that I've done, which is really, really cool. Like I've written ads. I've never written a Super Bowl ad, which was like one of my things that I was gonna do. But I don't know, just after a certain while when you like get a different brief and you're just like, these clients are never gonna fucking do anything. Why am I banging my brain against this?
And expending all of that energy, you're putting in all this time, you're literally giving it like chunks of your soul to then get it back and be like, we picked something else. And you're like,
otherwise, they're like, can you dumb it down and make it into sales? And I'm like, no. I'm like, this is creative. I'm like, this is my whole entire job. But I think it was also just like realizing that like that was really fun for me originally. But then now, like, I was getting to the point where I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually enjoying this. And I think that was like the tipping point to be able to go into like full time. And I had like a really big year last year. And I finally was like, okay, you're on stable grounds. You've done the things. You don't feel behind. And I was like, maybe it's a time to be able to like actually take a leap. And even though I have in the last 2 weeks had like multiple panic attacks with me like hiccup sobbing, thank God for Todd.
Yes. We've all feel that.
He keeps on being like, you've done so much work to be able to get yourself and us to where we are. Take a chance on yourself. And he's like, worst comes to worst, you go back and work for an agency. Yes. He's like, they love you. They'll like have you back in an instant.
Yes.
He's like, but also you probably don't need to go back. And I talked to my accountant. And I was like, how do I do this? I was like, this is what my break-even point is, right? And she was like, no, it's like way more than that. And I was like, okay, cool.
Super good. Glad we had this talk.
And I was like, can we just like bring that number down? And she was like, oh, I'm basing it off of like last year. I was like, last year is not going to happen again. I said we loved it, but it's not going to happen. And she was like, okay, we'll bring it like back down, but I guess we'll bring it back to like your low point, which we were still working full time and managed this like salary. So like, I guess we're really putting the bar low. And I was like, bar low.
We would like to be able to walk
like,
over
my
the bar. We would like to not have to jump.
Yeah.
Okay. No jumping.
I'm
Just a
like-
quick little tiptoe is good enough for me.
Yeah. So I think having that like stability there too to be able to do it.
Yes.
And again, like Todd's so sweet. He's like, I can like pick up some shifts like bartending and again, like if you want a cocktail, Todd can make you the most beautiful cocktail. He's just like
Well, I watched some of the pictures you guys post. I'm like, ugh, rude.
oh my God, he's fantastic.
The spread. Your like celebration day photo. Knitatude on Instagram,
charcuterie
very
board.
cute.
Yeah.
It's the wiener dogs and the purple hair and the charcuterie board and the smile on your face is like pure joy because you love your husband and you're like, this is a great day. But then it's also like,
I am so glad that you say that because not even half an hour before, I was hiccup sobbing, being like, did I make a big mistake? And then Todd was like, do you want to go to Peasant Cheese and do you want to get your favorite cheese and have a charcuterie board?
Yes.
And I was like, yes. And he was like, what else could we do to make this like something that you're excited about? And I was like, we could watch a Cinderella story with Hillary Duff. And he was like, let's watch it. So I'm so glad that you think that in that story because I was hiccup sobbing.
I'm telling
like,
you,
literally half an hour
I don't know how
before.
many times we look back at some of it. Like, okay, this is the best. Like, you want real entrepreneur, no BS. Okay.
Yeah.
Tim and I were licensed, and I had just got my license.
Yeah.
And he had a previous headshot, but he had no beard. So, like, Tim without a beard, like, they are not even close to the same human. Like, it is. We were at his aunt and uncle's house the other night, and because everyone was like, I can't imagine Tim without a beard. And I was like, I have pictures. And of course, he was like, show me. So I was like, okay. And I showed them the picture of Tim without a beard, and everyone was like, that's a lie. Is that like generated? Is that like an AI? And I'm like, no, that's definitely when I met the man. And then the man turns out he can grow this insanely stunning Viking beard. And that's never going away.
Swoon.
So
Todd
it was
is not gonna have that. He's Asian. He's a hairless Chihuahua.
He's
like he like when he's like, I'm gonna finally on his face. He can grow his hair. He grows his hair every single year. And in a year it will go from like being like your length to like here. It's insane.
Yeah, so he's the ability to grow the beautiful hair.
But for facial hair,
it ain't there.
No way.
See, okay, we're both licensed. Tim, of course, being super cute and his like little romantic business moments, he was like, we need to do like headshots together of the two of us. So I was like, cool.
Cute.
And I hadn't really like gone back to repicking up my camera. So I was like, well, I'll like see what that's going to look like. And it was like, I don't want to pay for those kind of headshots. Oh. Tim's like, maybe go to Walmart. So I was like, you know what? I got this. So I Jimmy rigged, and I genuinely mean, okay, for this episode, I will physically find the behind the scenes photo that I took of my Jimmy rig for our headshots on our front lawn because it was hysterical. I pulled 2 chairs, lawn chairs, and I stacked them in the jankiest way I could think of to create my tripod height. Really good. We started strong. Then I went and got a sock, and I tied the sock around the leg of one of the chairs, and I stuffed my phone into it so it would hold it. And then I put it on a timer, and we did our headshots. The best part of this whole thing is my husband looks so dapper. He's got like his dress shirt on, suit jacket, beard all groomed, gorgeous. I'm in like this cute like little dress with a blazer.
Yeah.
It was like the Ricky's ruched arm blazer. Sexy, beautiful moments. What nobody knows about that headshot, which is why I will find the picture and attach it to this episode. Tim is literally in sweat gym shorts.
Oh, on the bottom.
And bare feet. And I think I had like
It's
socks
COVID
and clogs
business
on.
casual.
Oh, it was like, because we were like, well, waist up. Like we just needed like headshots.
Yeah.
So Tim was like, so I don't need dress pants? I was like, no. He's like, oh, it's so much better. And we were outside on our front lawn with this Jimmy rigged like thing. Those were our headshots for the longest time. And everyone was like, these are great. Who did them? And I'm like, me. But it worked because it was like, okay, well, we can't keep spending all this money You got to make it work. And it was so fun. And it's part of like the behind the scenes piece that we loved when we were kind of starting to figure out what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
But it's the same with you and Todd. Like when Todd gets to be like, okay, like, oh, pause. You have already done the work.
Yeah.
You've already seen, because last year was capable of greatness, that you physically could do it again. It's easy. We've all had the year where we're like, can I copy paste whatever that looked like?
Yeah, exactly. What did I do?
But then it's like
land
political economy changes, city something changes, your personal life changes, like things change or they happen.
Oh, the algorithm changes.
Oh my God, like right? Or social media where it's like, ooh, we're gonna lose TikTok on Sunday, and then it's like, ha, just kidding.
No, we got
so
it
it's
back.
like, okay, there's so many factors, but when it comes down to like, I want to go get my cheese with my dogs, and I want to come home and watch Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff. Like that's the shit that nobody talks about. Everyone is like, yeah, no, we have a really strong dynamic, and he's a really great support. And he does all of my photography and videography. He's amazing. No, he is the one in the background that is like fussing over the dishwasher, prepping Cinderella Story, letting the dogs out to go pee so that when your ass stops hiccuping, he's like, okay, honey, time to go bye-bye. Like, but that is what builds us to get to where we can go, because there's somebody as crazy as us, if not sometimes probably crazier, that is willing to like figure out how to deal with the moment and then go forward. Don't go back to it, because there will be more in the future.
Yeah.
But like deal with it now.
Yeah.
But then it creates that base of like, we're gonna just see what happens.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And it's, I feel that.
It's like the calm of the storm. Like, Todd always calls me a tornado. He's like, you come in the house and like, it's like, he's like, I don't know how you do it, but it's like, you walk in the house, like you're a magnet, and then you walk in the house and then everything's off of you. He's like, the jacket is over there. The backpack is over there. The like sunglasses are over there. He's like, I just don't know how you do it. And he's just like, you're my little rain cloud. Whenever you're angry, you just piss on everyone. So this is what I mean. Like, I'm like, he's the yellow sun and I am just like the negative Nancy. I am a positive person, but you know, life is hard now.
Well, and it's scary because when you're navigating it and then you're like, I'm adulting. I'm running a business. I have my accountant and my financial planner. And then they're like, okay, you need to settle yourself. Yeah. We had that hard realization too. Like when I went on my surprise mat leave far later than I should have, because she was a purple people eater. At the end of that, you needed to not be in front of clients anymore, for sure. It was like, I grew up watching women in their pregnancies and they were like glowing and beautiful and like their hair was soft and shiny. My entire pregnancy, I was like, lies. There is no glowing. The glowing is sweat, because I haven't stopped bloating. I got to the end where Tim literally came home and was like, you need to get out of the house. Why don't we go get a Blizzard? Because that's all I craved. I wanted fruit, chocolate milk, random because I don't like milk, and ice cream. That's all I wanted my whole pregnancy. And he was like, let's go to Dairy Queen. And I was like, okay, sounds great. And I couldn't even put my Uggs on. I had to put my husband's gym shoes on without laces. Yeah, so good. So we needed not to put her in front of clients anymore, because woof, that body was going to do a lot more anger shooting.
Just like so hard on your body too.
It was
like being pregnant. I'm like, I think people forget that like your body is literally growing a human, and that is a lot of stress.
Seriously.
And there's like your hormones are. I'm saying this as like I'm a person that I don't have a kid, and like just the idea that there's like a woman's body changes so much when she's pregnant, and we put so much stress, and we also put so much danger. Sorry, this is me getting a little
serious.
snarky.
No,
like,
but it is.
Do you know that there's not a single car that is safe for a pregnant woman?
No.
Not a single car.
And then if it's like, okay, so you're pregnant.
Sorry, went on
and then
tangent.
My doctor was
Good
like,
luck getting us back
like
from
belly.
Here.
We need to protect your belly because like baby's on this side of the blah, blah, blah. So for the seatbelt, you need to buy the seatbelt attachment. I was like, the seatbelt attachment? What the fuck is the seatbelt? Look at the seatbelt. I was like, you want me to buy a $75 seatbelt attachment that I'm going to wear for another 3 months? I don't think so. We'll figure it out. So like, it was one of those things. And like, God bless the man. That man really, he deserved a Purple Heart through my pregnancy. Like, he really does need to be handed a Purple Heart, like a folded white flag, because that man really put in the work. Well, I met my perfect little
Bundle.
potato. And it was like, you wanted it? I did my first deal when he was 2 months old. And then it just never stopped again because it was easy to bring a potato on showings. He was great. And he was like the cutest plug. Everyone was like, yeah, let me hold it. So it was like, it's so fun. And then when he got to the stage we're in now, he is no longer welcome on showings. Especially if it is not a vacant house. He is like, he's a big kid. A separate tangent because I literally could just talk about my babies all the time.
Oh yeah.
So bizarre. But like with you, like you're making things that are very personal to somebody's body.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I know we kind of chatted about that before we started. So like for the ebbs and flows of like what you're dealing with, maybe it isn't a baby, but I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially, and this is not like a woman power comment because I'm not intending it to be like that, but I think for women,
if it was.
Well, but I think for women, especially for female entrepreneurs, especially for young female entrepreneurs, I think you're a lot heavier targeted because you're either dipping into an industry that other people have done it, been there, seen it, done it, got the t-shirt, whatever, who are you and why should we trust you?
Breaking into an absolutely new one.
Or like, and I ran into it all the time where like I'd go meet clients and they would look at all my tattoos and they'd be like,
nope.
Then I shaved my head with my tattoos. Woof. I actually had somebody ask me when I got out of jail. And I was like, did you realize that if I had a criminal record, I actually can't have my license? So fun fact. But people are like, people can be the catalyst for like loss of business.
Oh yeah.
And you were talking about internet trolls.
Oh yeah.
So I'm dying because I think the biggest piece of why I love this podcast and I love the people that I get to talk to, especially when I know them because it's like 20 years is unacceptable. However,
it's been a long time,
which I think is hysterical.
Yeah.
I think it's important because I'm curious because you mentioned it and you had mentioned the body inclusivity piece.
Yeah.
So I want to because I think it's important. You're a young female entrepreneur. You are a young, and I'll use the internet terminology, childless or child-free woman. But I know a lot of women that have either chosen not to have children because they love their business life or they whatever.
Yeah.
I know several young women that are like, I don't even want to think about it until I'm at a place in my business or my life where I am comfortable. So what has that experience been like for you? But I genuinely mean it. Like what
like being a breadwinner with no kids?
Breadwinner with no kids, having a business where you have to be body inclusive. But I think in the last 5 years, we've seen a huge pickup in where a lot of that needs to be. There's a lot of industries that could benefit from that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of industries that are maybe harping too much in places where it's now made it uncomfortable the opposite way. So like, what has that been like creating a business that fits your life, your belief system as it being inclusive and being the young female entrepreneur that is getting attacked and trolled and, how you doing over there? Are you okay?
Honestly, to give a little bit of backstory, so I mainly design garments. So I design sweaters and like
which she isn't wearing today.
Which I'm not wearing any knits, which was really a bad choice. But like sweaters and like cardigans and like dresses, etc. And in the knitting community, like probably in 2020, we've always tried to be as like size inclusive as possible. Yeah. And one of my girlfriends, she's a 3X. So I just remember starting to write designs being like, well, I want to be able to have you make my items because she's my best friend.
Yes.
So I'm like, I just want to be able to do that. And I think that's gotten a lot bigger, like that whole entire want and that core value. And I think it's finally nice to be able to see the rest of the world starting to do that too.
Yes.
It's an incrementally bigger amount of work for me. So to also kind of explain. So essentially I make my own sample. I find out how many stitches I have to cast on. And then from there I use math. God, I never finished grade 12 math. And now that I use math every single day, and essentially it's just like I need to add fabric is the easiest way to put it. Add or take away fabric.
Yes.
And then from there, it's adding additional stitches, doing all the math, but then also making sure that it's not just like a box because like
That was going to be one of my questions because that is real.
It is so frustrating.
Like you still have a waist.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to just fold over you.
Well, and that's also like the difference between a bust. So I write sizes for patterns that are extra small to 5X, which is a 28 to 62 inch bust.
Okay.
And that's what patterns are mainly graded. We call it graded because it's mathematically graded to be able to add sizes outside of the sample. And even though there could be a difference of like 12 inches to however many inches in the bust for between two sizes, the difference between shoulders is actually only like from an extra small to a 5X is only 3 inches. And
that's insane.
And it's like trying to remind yourself that like you can't just like throw a square onto a bigger body and say it fits, because then you get additional like fabric hanging, it bunches, it doesn't feel comfortable, and like also,
and now they just feel like mortified and they're not going to do it, and they don't want to like be in it.
And it's like an extra small does not have a smaller neck size than I do. A 5X does not have a larger neck size than I do. No. So why are things like just fitting where like it's really, really tight for an extra small, but then it's like this huge hole for a person who's a 5X? So yeah, definitely being in like in this industry, there's also a standard. Like I think knitters are surprisingly very political.
Really?
Yeah, they're. I think it's because like it's a slow fashion. Like it's something that like we are specifically choosing to be able to not buy something and make it, and we're talking like hours. Like for me to be able to make, I'm a 36.5 inch bust, which puts me in a medium, and for me to be able to make a sweater, it's 60 hours. So like it is incrementally slower. And I think it's also like you start to realize like what kind of like yarn you want to use. Is there any like eco-friendly? Like do you want to use wool? Do you want to use acrylic? If you use acrylic, you should probably wash your sweater in a guppy bag, which is like because it drops microplastics. Like I think the whole entire knitting community is like very, very conscious. Very conscious. Yes. And I think also because it is a very sedentary craft, there are a lot of different in like the bell curve, instead of it being, I think in the States, the average size for a woman is a 42 to 44 inch bust, which is an extra large. But I would say that it probably skews a little bit higher in the knitting industry just because we are sitting on our bums more often. And it's not an active craft.
No.
So it's just trying to be able to fit as many people as you can. And I don't... Wow, that was a very apt line for that. I just mean it
unintended,
as inclusive as like you can, because I don't know. I think everyone deserves to be able to like make something that fits their body, and like, knitting also. Sorry, I could go on a tangent for this, but it's like knitting is so awesome because every single pattern is a blueprint. So it's like if you check out the standardized sizes and you're like, okay, well, my bust is this size, but my arms compared to the standards are a different size. Yes. How can I add more stitches to be able to make it fit for me?
Yes. So it's like it becomes super, it's 100% customizable.
Yeah, and you can modify it. And sorry, to answer the second part of your thing,
this is wonderful.
As much as like it's so frustrating that it's like we are trying to push the whole entire world to be more inclusive in general, and like body positivity and like size inclusivity is one of them. But people on the internet suck, and
correct.
I can't like. I've been very, very lucky that I've gone like viral multiple times, and like I have an item. It's called a sweater scarf, which is literally like a scarf with sleeves.
It's great.
And when you put it on, you're like, how did that turn into this like beautiful sweater?
She has an insane video on her socials in a wedding dress.
In a wedding
dress.
In
the mountains. Highly recommend. And I'll shameless plug that one for you. Fine.
And like when I put on a wedding dress, because one of my girlfriends was like, hey, P.S., this would be beautiful for brides. It blew up. It absolutely blew up.
It was massive.
Yeah. Like I think, shameless plug, like 39.7 million views on one video. Like it's insane.
So proud
and I also have like 20 other videos that have gone over 10 million. Like it's like, and they're all sweater scarves, but it's like the amount of hate. And I hate that it mainly comes from women. Like that's the most frustrating part out of all of it.
Yes.
Of just like, first of all, I'm at like these videos, I'm in a wedding dress. Like it could have been my special day. And the amount of people that say like, thank God you're covering those fat arms. Or like, I can't believe that you would ever wear that with like a wedding dress. You've ruined your wedding dress. And you're just like, who pissed in your cornflakes? Like,
Right?
why do you need to shit on other people? And I just, again, other tangent just about the whole entire thing of like social media where I'm like, we've all just now thought that it's like our time to be able to critique other people.
Yeah.
And like, we don't need to have any qualifications to be able to critique people.
Correct.
And you're going through reels and you like on average, like, I don't know, when we were in like, I can't even imagine being in high school and like dealing with social media now.
Oh God, I don't envy
it's
it.
like, but it's like you had like 30 people in your class.
Yeah.
And if like you wore something, 30 people in your class would be looking at you.
Yes.
And now it's millions.
It's insane.
And it's like, instead of you just, if let's go from the other side, you looking at 30 people and judging 30 people, even if you're in high school, the max amount of people you're going to be judging it per day is like 100.
Yeah.
You now are on social media and you're scrolling and it's boom, 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 boom.
And it's
boom,
just like this
boom.
nonstop roll. And I think people don't like it's like this weird, I don't know, like alien zone that it's like everybody knows about it and everybody at some point is participating in it. But like everybody is participating in social media in some way, shape, or form, good or bad, or both. I don't really know. But I think everybody that I talk to social media about it is like pleasantly or structurally oblivious to like, oh, really? Oh, I don't see any of that. Okay, well, are you one of them then? Because like, I think, and it's every industry, and I will tangent right here with you.
Yeah. Oh, I've been doxxed on the internet.
Oh man, it's
absolutely terrifying.
And we've had people email us directly or DM us directly to be like, oh my God, why would you work with, oh no, why would you even take that? Because it is not my job to dictate whose home is good enough for social media or drones. But it is insane to me.
People are scary. I'm not gonna lie. We only looked at one house and we fought for the house. And like, you put me into an Airbnb and I'm like, what do you wear? What size are your shoes? Like that's like I'm like, are there any videos or like are there any like photos or anything like that? But yeah, because it is scary. I will say I had such like I was so excited for when we were buying our house. I hated buying our house.
It's very stressful.
I hate the sellers that we ended up buying our house from. But it was like going in and I was like, oh my God, you guys have like bread and butter Chardonnay. That's my favorite wine. Oh my God, I love these books that you've read. And we were like looking at everything and we were like, they must be our age. Like they are going to be our best friends. We were like so excited. Jamber, which is what we've named them because of their names together. If I find you.
Because I now live where you live. So
I know.
I don't know where you live. So that doesn't work for me. But it's serious though. Like
you are putting a lot of things out into the internet.
But you are. And a lot of it is stuff that you don't pay attention to. Similar in your business. You're like, okay, it's a picture of a wedding dress. And it was so beautiful. And I remember watching it being like, it was
stunning.
Brilliant. I know so many people that are like mountain wedding, kind of like where we are. It's like a very popular pick. And like bridesmaids. And it can all, like, I thought it was amazing. And I even looked at some of the comments and was like, ooh,
oh my God, like, they're mean.
Rough. It's the same in our industry. And I think that is something that people miss is like, yes, yours is like, you know, body positive or body image or inclusivity. And ours is, you know, it's got a roof and a door and furniture. And you wouldn't think that they're the same. But it's amazing what people are paying attention to now. And I think it's worse because now we have access to more information, which obviously creates good things and bad things. And it's how life goes. But it's interesting to me that, like, across both of our industries, we have both come into these, like, are you serious? Like, you actually went out of your way to, like, send me this opinion. And it's like, but he literally doesn't change anything. Physically does nothing, but like
what are you gonna have me do? Like you're gonna have me go back to those photos and like take those out?
Right?
Like that's the same like with my wedding dress, and I'm like, I don't mind me. I'll just make sure that I go up to Lake Louise, 3-hour drive.
Right.
I'll get back into my my wedding dress, and I'll make sure that I make it in another color just so that you can see it in another color.
And then someone else will get pissed off. It's the name of the game.
Oh my God, yeah.
You're literally never gonna make them all happy. It's impossible.
Purple hair, you're gonna hate that later. And I'm like, bitch, I've had purple hair for 10 years. It's not changing.
No.
Yeah, no.
But it's incredible, right? Like, and it's, I mean, we all like went to school, got bullied, peer pressure, like
Oh, it's online
the
bullying.
things. The online bullying
Which
thing.
people don't even realize that it is. They're like, it's just one comment.
No.
And I'm like, look at the rest of this feed.
Yeah.
It is like multiple comments.
But now
and
it's
it
even
all
worse.
adds up.
Like I've got 5 kids. We're aware. I watched my girls go through high school. I got 2 boys that eventually will do the same thing. Like give me the strength because oof, I like my job and I want to keep my license. But like already kids are just so vicious. And I think it isn't kids. It's like the access. The access has created this like mean bone in the bulk of a lot of the people that are actively participating or trolling or whatever. Yeah. And I think from the business standpoint, we've seen it. And that's why I said, like, I've had clients look at my tattoos and be like, there is no way I could trust you to work with me. Yeah. And it's like, it's okay. My brain isn't tattooed though. Like my brain is good. My skin might look scary, but like my brain is good. My record is clean. Like my experience is kind of killer. So like it's one of those things where it's like you have to be able to have this fuck you attitude, but like say it with a smile and gentle enough to be like, I'm not trying to offend you, but you need to hear me when I tell you how you're wrong without using the words you're wrong.
I also think that it's like so hard because like, especially in like this age of like social media where it's like you like, and I don't know if it's different for you as well, but like me, I'm like the face of my brand is me. Yes. And like Knitatude is Chantel is Knitatude. And like, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. It was so good.
It'll come back. It'll come back. It's because we're bouncing. We knew this was going to happen.
I remember. Where it's just like, because you like, there's so much like voyeurism and people love seeing into your lives. And you're like, how much of my private life do I show? How much of my private life do I not show? Yes. How much of my personality do I show? Yes. Do I talk about politics? Do I not talk about politics? Do I talk about race? Do I not talk about race? And then also like having like just... people have this other expectation where it's like, so I talk about all these things on Knitatude, and some people don't feel comfortable with that. And it's like, people are like, well, just stick to business. And it's this idea of like, how do you stick to business, but then also know that like social media has changed the game, that you can't just be a business. You can't just be a like faceless corporation anymore. No. It's a constant battle. Like, what do I say? What do I not say? Do I comment on that? Do I not comment on that? Like,
it's like the damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, right? Like that was, it's actually an interesting thing that you brought up, because that was, I think, one of our hardest lessons, and not hard in like the, won't do that again. We were in the process of curating newsletters, monthly newsletters. And of course, I am the human, and I will bare my soul. If I get junk in my mailbox, it is going back in that damn slot. I'm not putting it in my car. I'm not dealing with it. If I'm going to send you something, whether you've worked with me or not, it has to be something that is going to give you something. Like there's got to be a reason you're reading it, right? Yeah. So because like I know I've worked with too many clients now to be like unaware of the one person that is like, what are the statistics for residential in Calgary? And then there's the other one that was like, I just really need that waterfall fountain in the kitchen. Like that island.
I'm here for the vibes.
All the way. So like you really have got to like, you got to speak to so many people without diluting what you're doing. And for us, that was one of the biggest battles that we faced, because at the time we had a team that was like, nope, you do this. And it's like, blah, 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 blah. Don't be personal. And I was like, that's not ever going to be a thing. So 1 month I did what we all do when we feel like just proving a silent point. I made the newsletter that I didn't want to make, and I sent it. And then I made the newsletter that I wanted to make, and I sent it. And in my brain, it was like I'm born and raised Calgary. Like I grew up in a very unfiltered household. So like we knew real fast. That was good. That was bad. Like there was no like, what do you think they're feeling? They didn't grow up in that world. Like you remember. It's very clear cut in my world. And so for me, it was like, no, like I grew up in a family run business. My husband grew up in a family run business. Yeah. And so for me,
There's
the
a personal touch to
accolade,
it.
there has to be. Like, I think the other thing that entrepreneurs are
I also think
afraid
selling
of.
your house is like, or buying a new house,
Dude,
it's like you need to have someone who you're going to trust.
But that you actually believe is going to see your value in what you see value in. Like, if you honestly came to me and you were like, gee, this is my budget, but I swear to God, if you send me a house that does not have the waterfall island, it's over. Do you think I'm not going to pay attention? Like, I hear you, girl. Like, I get it. I'm here for it. I got you. We will get the damn island. For me, when we, over the next week, our admin was like, we're getting a lot of response from the newsletter this month. Of course, Tim was like, I knew it. Just had to have the right content. And then I started looking at the emails, and I was like, oh, it's my newsletter. Tim's like, what do you mean yours? So here's the thing. I just thought I would take maybe some creative liberties because it was a Father's Day newsletter.
Wait, was the feedback good or was the feedback
It was so
bad?
good. Everyone was like, dude, you what? Like, you guys are like, you're telling me that, like, we didn't realize you had 5 kids. Like, that's insane. We have 4. How did we not know this? Like, you are kind of crazy. And it's one of those things where it's like, the video is beautiful. Your dress is beautiful. The sweater is stunning. Todd did an insane job with the photos. Like, it's gorgeous.
That was a tripod.
That was not
all
Todd. But it was like, it was so incredible to see like how you put the whole concept together.
Yeah.
And then to watch how viral it went, because clearly everyone was like, oh my God.
Who doesn't want to look at Lake Louise?
Oh my God,
on a
seriously.
wedding?
But it was like
It was like
it was a whole moment, and that whole thing was just a moment.
Yeah.
But it is insane because I think for a lot of people, that's enough to be the tipping point. We've worked with a lot of women that are like, I could never have my real estate license. Are you kidding? Walking into a house with nobody home and showing people that I don't know. But it doesn't sound like it ever got like to the point where you were going to be like, I'm done.
Oh no, it just totally broke my mental health for the next 3 months. Every time that I have a viral reel, it like tanks me. And I think it's also because like I am the same as you. I bite back. And like and my husband is, again, like Todd is always like, don't feed the trolls. Do not feed the trolls. Like, and I am the person that's always like, reminder, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And then it's like every single person, they're like, well, I wasn't being mean. And I was like, well, you sure weren't being nice.
Yeah, that's me.
And then
I'm very,
and then I just like, and then I'm lost in my phone for like 2 weeks. And then I'm always like on edge, about to like open my phone, being like, what's there today?
I'm going to do it.
Like, we haven't even talked about Craftsnark because that's like a whole entire other.
I just love the fact that it is called Craftsnark.
Oh,
okay, can we just, like, that is brilliant by itself.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Not that it's like
funny.
A
no,
great
it totally
place,
is.
But because they live everywhere. Like, it used to be Reddit. Now it's like Quora.
Oh, no, it is. So it is. It's a thread on Reddit. It's called Craftsnark. Which, like, it used to be so good where it was just, like, you would see, like, designers having, like, fights together, being like, well, that's mine. And then they would have, like, disputes on whether they copy. But now it's just, like, it's just hate on anyone who has made any money on Craftsnark. I've been doxxed on Craftsnark. Like, I'm literally buying, like, a house. Like,
oh, man.
Yeah, being like, I know where she's looking. And the whole entire, like, Craftsnark is insane. It started, my first time that I was on it was, I had like a summer sale, which was right before we ended up finding our house. And I had like a summer sale, and I didn't realize that I have like bulk discount codes on my website. Yes. So it's like buy 3, save 10%, buy 5, save like 15, buy 8. And I didn't realize that people could stack coupons.
Oh, no.
So they were taking my like 25% off for my like spring sale and then stacking on top. So they were getting about like 50% off of like, and like buying like 20 patterns. And it was like, there is no way that you guys don't know this. Like, you were definitely trying to take advantage of it. And I just like threw up a story just being like, hey guys, like, please don't double dip. Like, I made them like, yeah, like,
yeah.
Please don't. Also, it's on my website. I can see who you are.
This is not anonymous.
Like, I was like, I can see who this is. And then I got immediately put on Craftsnark, and they were like, how dare she? She's talking about buying a house. I know where she lives right now. And I was currently living in Kensington, which I've now realized, like, for my house, like, there is no videos outside of my house. Like my new, like, but if you knew Calgary, you knew that, like,
Yes.
I lived on Memorial, almost underneath 14th Street. I
Yep.
looked off into, like, the river.
Yes.
And people were like, how dare she do this? Like, she's able to afford a house, and now she's upset and snippy about 10 cents off of a thing. Like,
Yep.
I know where she lives right now, and started putting my address, and, like, yeah, just wild. So Craftsnark is wild, and it's just like, again, it's like, you know that it's like a specifically like knit and crochet community, which is a majority of women, and you're just like,
Why? Like,
what
why?
is your deal? Like, and they're like, well, she's not business savvy if she's putting up stories like that. And I'm like, so I can't be a human on the internet, but I also can't be a business on the internet, because then they're not like, then I'm not human enough. And like, I just,
But you're too human for the business. Like, get it together, Chantel.
yeah, oh my God. It's like, I'm just not good at business.
But I don't think, honestly, at least at this point, no,
I'm
I
waiting
feel
for
that
this to go up,
I
and
feel that in
Craftsnark
my
to be like,
soul.
she finally acknowledged us on
Right.
Craftsnark.
It'll go viral again. You're welcome.
Oh God.
She's about
For
to go
all the wrong
underground
reasons.
for another 3 months.
Yeah, no shit.
No, but I think honestly, like, it's hard. I don't use the word hard. I think one of the biggest things for a lot of the people that I talk to in the entrepreneur world, blanket statement.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things, and I think you hit it right on the head. So I can't be a human, as that's not business enough, but then I can't be business because I'm not human enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the hardest blend, which is why I said at the beginning of this, like, my face will say way more than my mouth will, given the scenario, to the point where, like, my husband will be like,
You don't play poker.
But I think one of the biggest things is, like, it's super hard to be like, I love my business. I love my business. And I'm so excited that it's, like, happening and I'm doing it. And it's going, like, it's terrifying and I'm scared shitless, but, like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. But then you've got people that are like, oh my God, love this. Oh my God, like, yes, subscribe. Yes, good for you.
Wonderful.
Like, can't believe you're doing this. And then you get the people that are equal amounts, the naysays.
So angry.
And it's a hard balance, because I am that person. I am very much, which is why Tim and I work well together, because for the people that don't like me, work well with Tim. It's like, it is me, because I care about my business. But I think, like, so I guess, okay, I'm going to do it. And I have to, because I'm dead freaking curious. So, like, how has it been with your family? Because it's your mom and your sister.
Yep.
So how's it been with, creating this world, which, I mean, I kind of feel like I already know the answer to, but tackling, like, the people putting your address up and, like, people getting to know, like, oh, that is her sister, that is her mom, that is her address, this, like, body inclusivity, because that is, like, that can be very messy territory.
Yeah.
To be, like, this inclusive world.
Yeah.
Because we are the same way, and it doesn't matter how inclusive you are, there is always somebody that's going to feel like you're not inclusive.
Yeah.
So, like, how has that been with your family? Not Todd, because he's your person. So, like, he's Mulligan. He doesn't get to be anything but loving. He's a Mulligan. But, like, with your family, like, have you seen, like, support? Have you seen, like, Chantel, are you sure? Do you think this is a good idea? Like, how has it been from the family aspect? And I only ask because I know you all are, like, close.
Yeah.
So, because I know not everybody's, like, super tight with their family. Maybe family's not on the board for some people. I don't really know where everybody's at. But I know with, like, my family, super close. I know you were super close with your family.
Yeah.
So what has it been like from the entrepreneur mind, not the daughter-sister mind?
Oh, I don't even know if I can answer it, because it's been, like, I feel like I've had Knitatude for so long that I can't remember when I first brought it up.
So the shift from, like, work to full-time entrepreneur.
Oh, my mom's super proud of me.
Of course she
Like,
is.
she's like, she grew up really, like, with a struggling household.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that, like, I've been able to like take care of Todd and I think she's really, really proud of that. I think she's also just like proud of me in general. My sister is a total space cadet. I love her so much. And she's just like, she's just in the wind.
She's just in the wind.
She's actually staying with me right now. She's staying with me for the next month. She's been having she's a psych nurse, but she also deals with mental health as well. So she's staying with me for the next month. She literally got here like 2 days ago.
That's exciting.
And we live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. So 3 adults, 1 pooper is a quite interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
Need
We're
like a
really
schedule.
getting to know each other.
That definitely wasn't Chantel. That was Todd.
No.
I know. It's been long enough. I have identified elephant in the room. Okay.
No, my sister's like super proud of me. They're both like really supportive, which is really nice to be able to like have them always there and just.
See, I love that.
But
really love
I
that.
also wonder if it's just because like I don't like share everything with them. Like I feel like they only see like the nice, like pretty sides.
Now we're talking. Hey, mom, sister, listen up.
Except for like literally like 2 weeks ago when I again went full time and my sister called me and she was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "I will be over in 5 minutes." Like
it's terrifying.
Yeah, we're all like pretty chatty and all like pretty self-involved. So it all comes to like. I'll talk about Knitatude. My mom will talk about the zoo. My sister will talk about like mental health, and then it like bounces back and forth.
Yes, ping pong ball. But yeah. I think that honestly, out of everything you've said, I think that is like one of the biggest pieces that people don't understand, especially in business. And I can speak to this one like tenfold because like I have my brokerage because my husband is good. Like he's a brilliant man. He's the broker. So like. I get to play in the things that I do because I had him that was able to like step up and basically give me the platform to do it.
Yeah.
Which I know not everybody gets, and I'm super thankful for it. But there is so much, which is the other reason I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Is because we, as business owners, it's unavoidable. I think honestly, in today's world, it is mental health, inclusivity. Racial awareness, political awareness.
Yeah.
There is so many trending, hypersensitive, messy topics. And I think no matter what industry you're in, people are now at the point where it's if you aren't oversharing, you are literally failing. Because are you really doing it though? Like, did it actually happen? Are you actually promoting that? Because I didn't see it. Yeah. I didn't hear about it. And I think the reverse is just as, I think they both can be equally as true, whether they're happening or not. And I think for a lot of people, it's difficult to not share everything.
Yeah.
Because you don't, especially with family. Like you're like,
I don't want to. There's also like a parasocial relationship with anyone on like social media where you're like.
But with help. Because it's like, okay, this person, we could swim with the sharks. Like open season.
Yeah.
This person, water wings, like on the banks is not safe enough. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But it's a very hard line to toe. And I know for you more than for me, in some ways, social media is like a big driving factor for your business.
Oh yeah, it's dramatic. It's a huge, huge aspect.
That is stressful because like I don't have to rely on like a reel or a TikTok video or an Instagram. And I know that there are so many people that are going to see this episode and be like, me too. Where is this girl? How do I find her? She was on Who Spit on Reddit? Okay, I'm going to go find this girl. So, like, hopefully it doesn't give you more troubles. But honestly.
Please don't go like Craft Snark. Please don't tell Craft Snark that I talked about them. They're so mean.
But I think that's what people
I just want to give them all a hug because
you just need to start responding. I think sent them the Care Bear countdown, the whole thing. That was my reply. And it felt great. And it was like, at the end of it, was like, you didn't literally even need, you're just being snarky. But I think, honestly, because I talk to so many.
Sometimes you just need to stick up for yourself, though.
But you do. You're like, you know what? I am fine. I'm good. I think for a lot
the best one is a thumbs up.
That's my favorite is this.
Thumbs up.
I give a good for you, friend. I think for a lot of people, though, and like recently I've chatted with a couple young entrepreneurs that are not even as far in as you. I still deem you a young entrepreneur. But I'm talking people that are like a year deep and they're like suffocating under like, how do I navigate? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? Oh, everything is so expensive. Oh my God. And I think social media seems to be like the cherry on top, where it's like, it doesn't matter how good the production was, how good the content was, how solid the meaning or the intent was. It just seems like people don't understand that it isn't you.
It's an avatar.
Like it's my Bitmoji. She's really cute.
But it honestly is. Like, it's like...
But people don't, I don't think people realize that, especially as entrepreneurs. I also have to be the one that is like business enough to know this is when we walk away and don't reply, you little keyboard warrior. And then you have to know that that's the time to send the Care Bear cat down or the thumbs up. Like, it is a really weird balance because there is no algorithm. Like, there will be the meanest comment. You'll be like, ugh, don't even need to address it. And I think at the end of the day, which I think you've said a few different ways at this point, the biggest piece, in my opinion, from what I've heard you say just now, is that it really is about the fact that you're just doing it. You're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize that, like, if you can sit here with me and have this conversation, like, dude, be proud you're actually doing it.
It's also just like putting yourself out there and putting out your like creativity. Maybe that's the reason why I get so frustrated with Craftsnark, where I'm just like, you're just like shitting on people who are like actually putting their stuff out there.
Yes.
And if you feel so mad about it, go do it yourself.
Try the 60 hours.
And if you go do it yourself, I hope one day you turn up on Craftsnark.
But like,
sorry,
honestly,
I feel like I'm such like a little like, oh,
I think we're maybe gonna have to add the hashtag.
No, because
just for
then
the algorithm,
find
shits and giggles. Come on. No, but I'm serious. Like, I think it is real that like, even when like with your family, you're like, oh, I don't actually know if I could tell you what it's been like, or like with Todd, like, I don't actually.
Oh yeah, but then it's like so weird because everyone on social media knows everything. Like I had to have a conversation with my mom where she was like, I was like, I feel like you need to ask me about like how my day is. Like, I hear so much about the news. Like she volunteers at the zoo, so like I hear about the zoo a lot, and it's wonderful. She's like having an absolute blast. But I'm like, I think you need to like, can you check on me every once in a while? And she's like, what are you talking about? I see everything on like Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, but also Instagram is like only like a. It's what I show you.
Yes,
like
it's what I need you to see, because the rest of it that I'm not showing you, I feel you don't need to know. And that's the part
you're
that
not
people
seeing
miss.
me hiccup sobbing before I have my dogs and taking a
charcuterie
board and a big slice of brie.
Yes. Because
I'm watching a Cinderella story.
But that's the real shit. Nobody sees everything until you're in the position where you're living it, and then you get in your head, like we've all done at least once, where you're like, why am I the only one that can't figure this out? Like, what am I doing? Who decided that it was okay for me to lie to myself and be like, yeah, let's do this full time. Good job. Like, we literally have all been there, and we've all faced the tunnel of like, okay, that's scary. It's like, end of second quarter, and your accountant's like, hey, you okay? How's things? Is your website like dying? We've all literally lived it, but you have to, I think we end up feeling like you have to live it silently so that you don't look like you're failing. Because otherwise, if it isn't like out there and like all these views and all these followers or all these clients are like, oh, top salesperson in Alberta or like whatever, if it isn't this like insane, holy smokes news.
If you're not talking about your accolades, there's nothing that's
happening. You're failing. But are you really doing anything? It's like you are, because you're actually still doing it. Like whether you're making millions or not, I think that's where people get hung up. It is the fact that you are still doing it. And that's where people get lost. Which I'm so happy that you said that, because to me, that's the biggest piece, especially just with the couple that we've done already. Like, I notice everybody, even when I ask people, like, come talk to me on the podcast, people are like, about what? How fucking brutal it's been? I'm like, I'm sorry, how long have you been doing this for? 13 years? Brutally successful. Because, like, you're still doing it, you're still going. And I think that's the piece that people lose. And I think that's the easiest piece to forget.
Yeah, I think it's just, you're totally right, where it's just the idea that you just have to make the move. And making the move is hard in the first place. It's so hard. And whether that's like you're just starting a business or like you have been in it forever.
Yes.
Like it's just, you're putting a part of yourself out there for the world to be able to see.
It's never not scary.
Yeah, and it's nerve-wracking, but it's also so exciting, and it's also so rewarding because I know that as much as like I talk about the negative people, there's just like there's people that come into my inbox, and I know that like Debbie is a girl that lives in Calgary, and she follows me and she answers all of my stories. She
Oh,
like knows about Todd. She's like tried to help him get a job at a library.
I
She
love
also knows
this.
that like from me sharing that Todd's sister does like sugar cookies,
Yes.
that she's like ordered them for baby showers. So it's just like the people that you do end up meeting that are through it are also just like so wonderful and
Yes.
so I've never met Debbie in my life, but I talk to her every single day.
I think that is the incredible part about when you finally get to have the business where you're like in front of so many different people. Because like even to this day, like we will have people that we like bump into, and I don't know how many times it'll be like, I know you, I know you. And then you hear their voice and it's like, I do.
Dude,
Oh
I
my
know
God. Because it's like people change. And of course, like my business, I'm in person with you quite often.
you.
And so like if your haircut changes, like, I don't know, whatever, you got a face tattoo. I don't know what changed. But if I didn't recognize you right away, it's so cool when you meet somebody and you're as excited to see them as I would be to see like my best friend.
Yeah.
Like if I were walking through Walmart and I saw Anna, I would like flatten her. Like he would be like no holds barred. Like I would run you over just because I love you. But when
Yeah.
you get to the point where you have clients that feel that excited about you for you, it's also like,
I just with like going full time, I ended up starting a thing. It's called Coffee, KOFI, and it's
yes,
like a Patreon is the easiest way to put it.
yes.
It's kind of like a Facebook page, and I feel like I've been on Instagram now for like 11 years, and I give so much of myself away. And one of my girlfriends was like, you should really look into doing like coffee instead, which is essentially people will like pay you for content. So you would be doing exactly what you're doing on like Instagram, but more like
Yes.
behind the scenes. Like, I now have like tiers where it's like if you want to just like support Knitatude, you can just like join like, and you can just like send me a coffee, which is like a one-time tip. Otherwise, you can do tiers where it's like you see all the behind the scenes that I'm not going to be showing on to Instagram, and it's like $4. And then like I have different tiers that are like the second tier is like you get a specific cocktail that Todd made once a month.
I
And then
love
like
that.
for my like highest tier, you end up getting like an hour Stitch and Bitch once a month with me hosted with everyone else that like is on the same tier as you. And it has been absolutely eye opening that there's been so many people that were like, oh yeah, I'll sign up for that. I just want to be able to like support you and see stuff, and I will literally pay to see your content. So it's like that is just such a mind boggling thing where I obviously make designs and people buy the patterns, but they are getting something. Like
Yes.
they're getting something, not just
Getting
like
more out of it than a pattern.
yeah, like they get
Yes.
to like make it and then
Yes.
whichever. But it's been so wild to just like again like the Debbies where I'm just like
I love you.
it's
Yes.
it on it. And like looking at the people that have signed up for my like top tier, I'm like, oh, I've been talking to them on Instagram for years.
Isn't that insane? So the biggest burning lesson that I've learned that I am now understanding, we are all learning, and that I struggle with.
Mhm.
This is the other reason that I'm not always the best entrepreneur brain because I'm too much of a suck bucket first. So yeah, the heart, she really does lead the way. But for me, honestly, it's been a really hard lesson for me to name my value
Oh yeah.
and not feel bad for not walking away from my value.
Mhm.
And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, that is one of the heaviest or scariest or isolating choices that you make because when you name your value, I think we all are our worst nightmares by being like, oh, I think it's too high. Oh, I think I'm like the only one priced like that. Oh, I think nobody's going to pay that. Nobody is
Yeah.
no, like nobody's going to pay $4 to watch. Oh my God, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
What am I doing? And it took me a really long time to get to the point where it was like, this is my value. I know my worth.
Yeah.
I know what you get for it. I know you're not going to get it the way I'm going to give it to you
Yeah.
pretty much across the board. And I guarantee that I will make sure you come out of it feeling like
You got
bunnies
something.
and rainbows. you're maybe going to have a stomach ulcer along the way. He kind of picked a stressful boat to hop on me with, but like, we're going to do it together because I got you. Like, Lord.
It's so difficult.
I think that for most people is like the elephant in the room. Like, oh, you're a landscaper? That's great. And it's like, don't ask me how much. Ask me for like, what can I do? Why am I different? Why is the price higher? Why is the price lower? Like, do more than just being like, is that negotiable?
That it just comes down to price.
It is, I think, something that we face because we aren't a Walmart. We aren't, like the Bay. We aren't this store that's like, it's on the price tag. I can check the price tag for you. The screen will tell you what's on the price tag. And there are very few industries where haggling is a factor until you start talking about being an entrepreneur. And it's across every one of them. I've yet to speak to an entrepreneur that's like, well, I've never had anybody haggle my price or haggle my, expenses or whatever I'm getting paid, because we are not profit. We are for-profit, which is the fun of it. But I think it's crazy how like the shift happens.
Yeah.
Like before you went full-time with Knitatude, were you still, like, I know your content never changed because your content's always been there, but were you like as hot and heavy with like watching your content or like being immersed in like the forums and stuff this whole time? Like since you started Knitatude?
I am Narcissus. I have my own, like I'm not gonna lie. Like, I watch my stories probably more than more people.
Yeah, but then you're like sitting there and critiquing it or like relishing in it.
No,
and
I am critiquing it. I totally am.
Yes.
No, I am very dialed in.
See, but I respect that because I'm not. I will create the content and be like, post, done, next. Because it is not my thing. Like, I would much rather be with the people doing the stuff that I love, because it's like that's my stuff. Doing content, I'm like, ugh, which is hysterical because
see, I come from like a marketing background, so like I love the analytics. I like going in to see like why is this one getting more shares than the other one?
Yes.
Why is my clip slightly different? Like the marketing brain for me is just something that like it's so dialed in, and also because like knitting, like the community is tight knit, haha.
Pun intended.
But
love
it's like,
it.
but it's also like if I like, I know that if I end up going to like New York, I'll stay with my girlfriend Alexi, who like also is like a designer.
Yes.
If I end up going to like Seattle, I will stay with my girlfriend Joanna, and we'll talk about books. Like it's like
you start creating like
your own like group of like
communities.
friends.
Yes.
And like, not to say that there aren't like knitters and crocheters in Calgary, because some of my best girlfriends are like from my knit night.
Yes.
But it's also, I'm just always on social media because like that's where all my friends are.
See, and I think that's a very real factor because we're the same way. If we go to Palm Desert, we'll stay with Josie. If we want to go to Bogota, like we know so many people that are broker owners. And so it's so cool to be like, hey, like, if nothing else, this has brought us like this insane circle of people that are so immersed in the same thing we are.
Yeah.
And that is so exciting. It can feel
it's so sought after too.
It is incredibly
like
sought after because we all want to have our industry, which is, I mean, really our baby, belong in our life in a place where you're not the only one with it. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you, if we would have been sitting on the front steps of
Youth Singers
Victoria Center at nighttime after rehearsal, sitting and chatting and singing in the parking lot, if I would have been like, I can't wait until you take your knitting company full time and quit your job, you probably would have been like, yeah, student loans sound
for sure
like that's never going to happen. I just think it's crazy that like, I love that you did it. I'm like insanely proud of you for doing it because I know so many people that could that don't, because it's like, why would I leave safety? You don't leave safety.
Well, I'll talk to you in 6 months.
Yes, you will. We'll do a follow-up. We'll do a follow-up after this one and see how many people on all of your favorite platforms also watch the episode. That's okay. We'll splice certain bits out. No, I think honestly, it's amazing. I know we could probably sit here and like shut the place down. However, I am super excited for you.
Thank you.
The next time that we have Knitatude on, we are going to hope Knitatude is,
She'll be
prepared
crushing it. Who am I kidding?
with some clothing at minimum.
Oh my God, no knits. That was a very poor choice.
I think it's hysterical that was the first thing
I'm
you said when you
usually
walked in and saw the
so
chairs.
good. I don't know what I was thinking today. I was like,
I
thank
love
God
it.
you put on makeup and you did heatless curls because
we were
I
not
was not
batting aces
prepared.
into
I could have
this.
worn really cute shoes. You have the cutest shoes, and I'm just wearing my
That's because it's melting
Converse.
enough that I don't have to be Miss Sneakers in.
I know, but I could have worn cute things, and I
You are cute, and you have pink hair, purple hair.
Thank you.
It honestly is like the best accessory. I genuinely believe this because I will eventually one day make the plunge to do a color, but I gotta get
Oh my God, it's so fun.
my hair back to not quite falling out of my head. Separate conversation for part 2. Self-care as an entrepreneur. It's called Crisis Colors. Really, really have experienced that in the last 5 years. Fire engine red, bleach blonde, silver, black.
Not all of them.
We've done the spectrums. Fun. No, I love this. And we do definitely need to do a part 2 of your like mid-cast of the year, how things are going.
Yeah.
I love it. I appreciate you for coming on. And I love that I could genuinely count on you to be that no bullshit, no fluff human. Because when I
was like, can I swear? And you were like, yeah.
it's my love language.
Thank God.
Tell me how you feel and make it dirty. No, I really do. I love that you came on, and I love that like we reconnected because you literally are like knee deep in entrepreneur life.
I know.
That is insane. Because I talk to so many people and they're like, no, people need not know what my chaos is. And I'm like, but they, I don't think you realize how important that is.
No, it's so important.
So I love it. I will, for everybody that wants to go creep our said purple knitter, purple-haired designer, I believe are the words that you gave me, purple-haired designer.
Yeah.
I will leave all of the social media information, website, contact info for Knitatude, so you can check it out. I will be sure to find the photo that I referred to and put that somewhere in the
wild
because it is the epitome of being an entrepreneur, just making stuff work. And then, yes, I do highly recommend. Honestly, I'm always here for a shameless plug. Go look at her stuff. Go look at her partnerships. She's got some really amazing things happening. She was very gentle.
I have a book coming out.
We go through in a whole episode.
It comes out in December. I haven't told anyone. Technically, I can't tell anyone until June, so we're spilling the beans. It's a knitting book. Sorry, it's not like
that in the video. It literally is going to be like car brakes. I have a book coming out. Wow, and
so
we've just been like bitching this entire time. I have a book. Oops. Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna cycle back to that one.
Sorry.
Anyways, so I will add all of her info below. And if by the time this is posted, she's allowed to talk about the book, I'll add info about that as well.
I think I'm allowed to anyways. It popped up on Libby the other day, and I was like, ah!
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
okay,
really cool.
Well, so clearly there will be a part 2 before December. And I will add all of the details below. I think the other thing that I'm going to attach for this one is I never thought that I would actually use this in the
Trigger
entrepreneur
warnings?
world. Some what?
Were you going to say trigger warnings? Because we talk about some pretty intense stuff.
I give a pretty good disclaimer at the beginning. Usually I try. But no, I'm actually going to attach some business mental health info to this one because I think the whole point of the podcast is that it is unfiltered, that we are not withholding like the absolute real shit. And so I think it is important to address. And I do appreciate that you brought up mental health a couple times and inclusivity. I love that you are trying to center your business around making it available to as many people as possible because I think that is something that is scary to approach. Not every industry really has to deal with it the same way as other industries, but both can be true at the same time where it needs to be something that people are just mindful of. And so I will put some, I'm going to say that they're more than likely going to be links because I don't actually know if you can still get the book, but I'll put some links because the book is really good. Also quite a no BS read. It's a very unfiltered book, wonderful. But if I can't if you can't still order the book, whether it's Kindle, Amazon, whatever, I'll put the links below so you guys can pick it up. And stay tuned for the most inevitable part 2.
Yeah.
From Sneaky Pete over here with the book coming. So I'm thrilled about that one.
Sorry, I added it right at the last second.
We're gonna call her Purple Hair Sneaky Pete. But yes, we will be back with a part 2. And yeah, I loved doing this with you. This has been.
Oh my God, it was great. It was great to catch up.
We probably have like the saint over here that's doing all of our work is probably like in 3 hours.
Shut up.
Amazing. But this was incredible. I appreciate you. It was a lot of fun.